Fox News is not overly concerned with defense spending, the trillions of dollars we wasted in Iraq and Afghanistan, but they found out one part of our budget that is unacceptable. We're giving too much money to the poor. But wait a minute, how about the trillions in tax cuts to the rich and corporations, and especially the ones that Trump and the Republicans are promising now, to the tune of possibly $10 trillion over the next decade? Yeah, no, we're giving the poor too much money. All right, let's let Fox News explain.
Well, food stamp fraud is at an all-time high, and it is estimated $70 million of taxpayer money was wasted on food stamp fraud. So is it time to end the program altogether?
Oh my God, $70 million. That sounds like a lot of money. I'm going to give you context on that in a second, and you're going to see what a little money is and a lot of money is when it comes to the federal government. But you notice what she just said? Is it time to end the program altogether? Well, there's a little bit of waste in a program. Did we kill it? Can we apply that same standard to the Pentagon? Probably not. Again, let me get to those numbers in a second, but I want to give you one more clip here.
This program, the SNAP program, the reincarnation of the food stamp program, has been ripe with problems since almost its inception. Bob Dole said in 1977 that we have finally eliminated the greed and fed the need. And unfortunately, 40 years later, we still see the same problems with fraud, with abuse, and really just overspending on this particular program.
Fraud and abuse. I mean, we found it. The one thing helping poor people in this government, we got to get rid of it, right? Now let's give you the facts. First of all, they said record amount of fraud in 2016, this year. We don't even have the numbers for this year. So let me give you the reality. Their on-screen graphic cited 2016 USDA as the source of this information. However, according to the Department of Agriculture website, the most recent data available is from 2015. So this, look, you could say, hey, that's a small mistake, 2015, 2016, that's the latest numbers they have, right? First of all, that's Fox News claiming those numbers, but it's not a small mistake. Think about why they're doing it. They have created a false urgency. Now, oh, breaking news! Oh my God, the latest numbers from this year is all of this abuse. We got to end this food stamp thing as soon as Trump gets into office. See, that's the fake urgency. It's actually last year's numbers. Okay, but we're not anywhere near done. Let's keep going. Okay, now let's give you context for this food stamp program. They made it sound like it's a giant program. Oh my God, it's bleeding the budget dry. We got to end it. We got to end it. Quote, SNAP overall comprises about 0.1% of the federal budget. Not 1%, 0.1% of the federal budget. So other stuff is 99.9% of the budget. Okay, now the question is there fraud and abuse? Which, by the way, there's fraud in almost every department of the government to some degree, as you're about to see, and in private corporations, and the list goes on. So if you want to attack anything, it's pretty easy to do it. So context is important. Let me give it to you. As Think Progress points out, in fiscal year 2016, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, that's SNAP, otherwise known as food stamps, is expected to cost about $70.8 billion. If Fox News' claim of $70 million in waste is correct, that would still mean that less than 1/10 of 1% of SNAP dollars are spent fraudulently. So 99.9% of the budget is not SNAP or food stamps, and 99.9% of SNAP spending is not fraudulent, which is actually an excellent record. I don't know how they pulled that off. So it is a tiny percentage of their budget. And Fox is like, news alert, news alert. We've got to get rid of the thing that helps poor people. We've got to pass trillions of dollars in tax cuts for the rich. God, they're gross. Now, one last piece of context. Compared to the $125 billion of waste that the Department of Defense recently tried to cover up, that figure appears even more microscopic. Now, that $125 billion is from a recent report from the Defense Department. They contracted out to a group led by very successful businessmen. They're like, great, these guys are on our side. The group looked into it and they're like, oh my God, there is monumental waste and fraud in the Pentagon to the tune of $125 billion over 5 years. That's larger than the entire food stamp budget of $70.8 billion. Now Now, to be fair, 70 billion is per year, 125 billion is over 5 years, okay? But the fraud that they found in the food stamp program is 70 million. The fraud in the Pentagon is 125 billion. You see breaking news alerts on Fox News? Oh my, we got to end the Pentagon. We got to end the Defense Department. Look at this, 125 million, no $1 billion in waste. No, shh. We don't talk about that because Fox News loves defense contractors. They're part of the corruption. So they're like, hey, let's convince our conservative audience that giant amounts of waste is awesome and needed to protect the American people. You know, when we need to go do, Secretary of Offense, have our guy go in there and create more wars, well, that's great. And when we're wasting billions of dollars, and by the way, in Iraq and Afghanistan, trillions of dollars, we would just keep losing billions upon millions. And Rumsfeld would show up on TV and be like, another $6 billion, I don't know where it went, right? A trillion, I don't know, I lost it, right? Fox News is like, that's great, that's awesome. Oh my God, look at this food stamps. That 0.1% fraud and the whole program. I want you to know their agenda. That's their real agenda, so that you can see past their obvious lies. Get the full 2-hour show ad-free. Become a member, tytnetwork.com/join.